Hey, Divine Ones. So I wanted to come and talk to you about something that was a very pivotal point in my healing journey, and that was the understanding that the health state of your body is a reflection of your consciousness and your vibration. So, your consciousness being the beliefs you're holding and the thoughts you're thinking chronically, like the thoughts you're continuing to practice, the thoughts you're continuing to offer, and your vibration being your emotional feeling, like how you're feeling. And so, for instance, I used to feel like and believe, I used to believe and feel that there was parts of me that I needed to hide, that I needed to keep hidden from people. That if people saw this about me, then they would reject me somehow, or they would withdraw their love from me, or their belonging from me, or they would ridicule me. And those things at the time were my sexuality. They were also my intuitive gifts because I grew up in a very religious environment, and my intuitive and psychic gifts. And also my looks because I was teased a lot when I was a kid for being a thicker kid. So I thought that being thick was being unlovable, that it was undesirable. And so if people saw how thick I was, they wouldn't be attracted to me. And so I thought I had to hide my body, I had to hide my sexuality, I had to hide my psychic abilities. And what ended up happening was I manifested, because your body has to be a reflection of your consciousness and your vibration. Remember, in this particular dimension that we live in, it's the basic rule of everything is as within, so without. This is about your outer reality must reflect your internal reality, your internal state. So your external reality is an exact mirrored replica of your internal state. And so I manifested a disease that I had to hide, right? That I felt I had to hide. It was the exact same feelings. I thought that if people, knew about this disease, this is how the disease felt for me, right? If people knew about this disease, they would withdraw from me, they would ridicule me, they would not find me desirable, they would not make me belong anymore, and they would pull their love back from me. And that was what HIV was for me, right? So that was the HIV was a reflection of my internal feelings, my internal consciousness, and my internal vibration. The internal consciousness and the internal vibration come first. And if we hold that chronically, if we hold that feeling and that belief that there is something about me that I have to hide, you must have a reality that confirms that. And you must have a body that also confirms that. Your reality and your body cannot buck your internal state of being. They can't buck your consciousness and they cannot buck your vibration. So I was having this vibration and this energy and this consciousness that I had to hide. I had something to hide about me. And so I manifested a health state in my body that I felt I had to hide, right? It's going to be a direct reflection. And it's also going to be an expansion, an enhancement on that, right? So this is the cyclical aspect of disease. You feel a certain way and you think a certain way. You manifest a disease that makes you further feel and think that way, and then that cycle keeps going and keeps getting bigger. And so a big part of my healing process was me not, trying to address the external manifestation of HIV, but the internal root, which was the belief that there was something I had to hide. So the biggest medicine that I had, right, the self-love aspect, self-loving medicine, was to really change my beliefs around myself and believe that there was nothing that I needed to hide, that all of my truth was safe in the light, and that there was nothing about me that would be unlovable, and that my truth would not make people pull away but draw closer in. that my truth would not make me undesirable, but more desirable. That is my truth is loved and lovable and safe. And so there's nothing for me to hide in my truth. There's only things for me to express. That began to be medicine because, again, when you believe that, your body has to reflect that as well. When you no longer believe there's something for you to hide, you no longer manifest anything externally to hide from, right? So when I began to work with that, my body began to heal, right? My immune system began to get stronger all of a sudden. And all of a sudden, even I was taking all the medicines before, I was, doing all the alkaline diets and doing all the increasing, protocols. And those things were working very small, right? They were having very small improvements. But when I started to change my consciousness and change how I was feeling, all of a sudden dramatic things began to happen in my health, because as within so without, when I felt that there was nothing that I needed to hide, that I all of me belongs in the light, then my health began to reflect that as well, right? My health was like, oh, there's nothing, you don't have anything to hide, you won't have anything to hide in your body anymore either. Same thing also used to happen when I felt that there was something to hide. There was also um, when I would feel very tired, you know, I would feel exhausted. I was taking too much on. And I was always operating with a full plate. And I was always saying yes to things instead of saying no. And so my schedule was always full, and I always had a packed to-do list, and I was feeling exhausted, and I wasn't sleeping well on top of that. So I was feeling very tired. Didn't have a good sleep schedule, wasn't getting a lot of sleep, and my lifestyle was exhausting me as well. So I felt exhausted. Well, I also manifested the disease from that. And this is chronic, right? It's not like your body's not going, you feel this way today, your body's not going to manifest something tomorrow. It's something that it's about chronically feeling this way, chronically holding these beliefs, right? And when you chronically feel this way and you chronically believe this way, you must manifest. You must manifest an outer reality to match that. And so eventually I manifested something in my body where I had chronic fatigue, where I was literally, my body literally was, I wasn't just emotionally tired anymore, I was physically tired. I was physically exhausted. I began to have pains in my body where I couldn't walk. Literally, where it would hurt to walk, and I had to rest a lot. And I had to change, right, my behaviors, but I had to change my emotional state and my belief state to, instead of I'm tired and I'm exhausted all the time, to I'm refreshed, I am energized. And when I began to do things that made me feel more energized and feel more refreshed, all of a sudden the chronic fatigue went away, and the doctors couldn't, they couldn't understand, where all of a sudden, my body was healed from these things. And this is the thing, right? When you are experiencing some type of disease or illness, the real key to healing yourself isn't about just attacking the illness or disease. That's not it at all. It's about understanding what the root cause is. The disease is just a mirrored reflection. And just like a mirror, right? If you don't like the reflection you see in a mirror, you don't attack the mirror. You don't wage war on the mirror. You don't try and clean the mirror over and over and over again. You don't send the mirror through a cleanse, because all it's going to do is keep reflecting back. If you want to change what the mirror is reflecting, you have to change the thing it's reflecting. And this is the key to our healing that we're not really taught in a lot of places. The key to healing is to get a clear picture of what this disease is reflecting, right? What beliefs is reflecting, and what vibration and feeling that you've been holding that has been reflecting. And most likely, if it's a disease, this is something you've been holding chronically. You've been holding for a while. This is a pattern of vibration. This is a pattern of belief in you. And it's something you've been believing for a while and feeling for a long time. So when you can pinpoint what that is and you address that and you shift it, you will notice a dramatic improvement in your health, if not a full healing of your body. Because once that is different, the health state has to be different because it has to mirror what you've shifted into. So this is one of the things I do when I work with clients, right? I help them, one, understand and get very crystal clear on what the root cause is of the disease or chronic illness they're experiencing. Like, what is the belief systems that this is mirroring and reflecting? What is the vibrations that they're mirroring and reflecting? And what do you need to shift? What is the new vibration you need to hold and the new beliefs you need to hold that will allow your body to reflect wellness and health instead, right? And what are the choices and behaviors you need to do and choices you need to make to support that shift? But that is what healing the body really is. The health state of our body is always going to be a reflection of our consciousness and our vibration. And if we're chronically thinking, you know, higher vibrational beliefs and thoughts and holding higher vibrational emotions, which are the emotions of love, then our body's health state is going to reflect back to us what the emotions and the beliefs of love reflect, and that is wellness and health. Love is the source of wellness and health, but we have to embody it in order to experience it. And that's the key. And that's one of the biggest keys to my own personal healing that led to a miraculous shift in my healing journey was understanding what the root was. HIV, the root of it was I felt ashamed. And I felt from that shame, I felt like there was something I needed to hide. And kidney failure was exhaustion. And it was also feeling like a failure, which I talked about in other videos. But once I began to address those things, I began to heal. Once I began to, instead of feeling like there was something to hide, feeling like um, I don't need to hide anything, there's nothing wrong with me, and I can live in the light, my immune system began to skyrocket, right? Once I began to, instead of feeling exhausted and tired, I began to feel rested and I began to feel charged and well nourished. My kidneys began to get better. And once I began to, instead of feeling like a failure, I began to feel successful. I began to believe that what I was doing was headed in the right direction, that I wasn't, failing. I wasn't doing the wrong thing, that I wasn't behind. I was right where I needed to be, that whatever I was doing was of service and it was serving my mission here on the planet. My health began to improve, and it began to improve drastically and dramatically and miraculously. As within, so without. The body is only ever just a reflection of our consciousness. It is a reflecting what we believe, particularly about ourselves, and how we feel, particularly about ourselves. And if we want to change the health state of our body, it isn't about trying to change that mirror, right? Our body is the mirror. It's not necessarily about trying to, get this diet in and get this exercise regimen in. Only if those things support a shift in the consciousness or a shift in the vibration. But the real work, no matter what you do, and I'm not saying don't focus on diet, don't take medicine or herbs or try any other alternative therapies. I'm not saying that at all. I'm just saying your real work is going to be shifting your consciousness and your vibration into the opposite, usually, of what is causing the disease to manifest. The disease is manifested as a reflection to your consciousness and your vibration. You change your consciousness, you change your vibration, you change the health state of your body. But as always, don't just take my word for it. Try it for yourself and prove it to yourself. And if you need help, please feel free to reach out. I'd love to do a session with you. This is my work, and I love to help you learn how to self-love your way to the health and healing that you desire and divinely deserve. As always, I love you. Now go love yourself. Bye.